Hello, everybody. You're all very welcome to the session today as part of our overview of the E3 project, where we're going to be talking to you about the wonders of natural sciences and how you can really engage with the natural sciences school and program within Trinity College Dublin. What I'd like to do just to start off with is to here we go, highlights the panel that we're talking to you today, and we have some additional members as well. But my name is Matt Saunders. I am the Director of Undergraduate Teaching and Learning in the School of Natural Sciences. And I'm also joined by a colleague, Professor Trevor Hodkinson, and he is the Global Director within the School of Natural Sciences as well. And we're also being joined by members of the E3 Business and Administration Development team. And so we have Melanie and Abigail on the call as well, and they will be able to answer any specific questions you might have in those respects. And most importantly, we have members of our student cohort here as well, who can give you a really nice insight into the programs themselves. So we have Nadia, who is a fourth-year botany student. We have Kleena, who's a third-year student on the new E3 Environmental Science and Engineering degree. And we also have Anna, who is a final-year geoscience student. So they'll be able to give their insights into the courses that they're studying as well. I'll just give you an overview as well for the format of the session today. We're going to have a short presentation where I'm going to kind of talk you through the kind of E3 program and the E3 project, and then talk to you about particular aspects of the degree programs or degree moderatorships so you can come into natural sciences and the entry pathways and the sorts of things you'll be engaging with should you decide to come and study this in Trinity. So just to give you a quick overview of the Natural Sciences School in Trinity, it's a school that researches and teaches on all aspects of the natural world, looking at the geological aspects of the formation of the earth, how wider environmental systems behave, how organisms evolve, and how ecological structures form within the sorts of environments that we see on Earth, and really importantly, how humans and human society is influencing these sorts of systems within the Earth and the geosphere. And we're engaged in solving lots of the major challenges, the key environmental, the big picture questions facing human society. And we do this through teaching on a whole range of degree programs. As you can see here, we've got 6 different undergraduate degrees and 5 different master's degrees that range in scope and focus, from environmental sciences to botany, zoology, geoscience, geography, and of course the new environmental science and engineering degree. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more in detail about those degree programs a little bit later. I think one thing that's also really important is that natural sciences are very much at the forefront of cutting-edge research. Lots of research funding is one. We have lots of really prestigious research grants, ranging from European Research Council to Horizon Europe to national projects that really sit within our science foundation structures. Science Foundation Ireland, and working with key organizations such as the Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and the Marine. And lots of this work is really at the forefront of pushing the boundaries of science and what we know about how we can address these major challenges. There's also lots of partnerships with industry, and that's something that you'll see across lots of the different programs that we have. And lots of the work that we do also engages directly with policy development. We have members of natural sciences at the moment at the Conference of Parties meeting in Dubai, looking at the issues of climate change and observing what's going on there. What I'd like to do now is actually show you a video of E3 and to give you a flavor of what E3 is all about. And what we're doing there is really trying to create a vision of the future humanity and planet, and how that hinges on our ability to adopt a more sustainable approach to all aspects of life. And what we've done is brought schools and disciplines together to develop a platform that helps to engage and inspire the next generation of critical thinkers, so they can go ahead and really solve these sorts of problems. We've got a small video now that I'd like to show you. This features colleagues from across E3 that really highlight the focus of the project, the need for it, the vision for it, and how the infrastructure, the learning foundry that's being built is really going to provide the infrastructure and space that allows students to really explore these topics, to hone their skills and really become global ambassadors for sustainability in the future.
We have an obligation as a third level research institution to respond to what are the social, climatic, environmental, energy crises in which the world finds itself. Human activity is causing catastrophic changes in our planet, and the real big tipping point is about 2050. So the graduates that come out of Trinity in the next 5 years are the people that will have to contribute to the solutions to these problems, and we're going to do it through E3.
E3 is a multidisciplinary program, and multidisciplinary programs are greater than the sum of their parts. The E3 project is taking students beyond the traditional area of science of discovery and moving us towards the science of engagement and collaboration.
E3 stands for a merging of environmental science, engineering, and computer science and statistics. It's a conceptual, philosophical transformation of the way in which science is taught in Trinity at the moment.
The E3 Norton Learning Foundry will provide a space where all of this can happen with the suitable equipment and facilities for students to really enjoy themselves while they learn.
That has really innovative spatial design features, including design labs and interactive spaces, which merge the IT and computer needs of computer science with the wet lab, microscopes, etc. of the natural scientists, all the way through to the high-ceilinged areas for mechanical, civil, and scaling up prototypes of materials, robots, etc. for engineering.
It is very exciting to be involved in this new development where we allow our students to really learn and to work with and meet with and interact with people with a different discipline. I think some of the most interesting learning happens in the university when you cross disciplines.
Success for the Foundry would be that people walking past would stop and look and recognise that there's something different going on in there, and they'd be curious. They'd want to go in, they'd want to see, and it's not just the architecture, which is a part of it, but it's actually the activity that's going on there.
E3 can be a real driver for change in society. I think the graduates that will come out of the E3 Learning Foundry will be much more attuned to the ways in which their skills and training will be able to address the challenges the world faces, climate change, sustainability challenges, and many others. And I think it's a very exciting time.
Okay, so I think that video gives you a nice flavour of the vision of E3 and what E3 is really trying to achieve and really to support the students to kind of achieve in their studies there, and really how we can bring together the schools of computer science, of engineering and natural sciences to really address those kind of big picture problems that humanity faces going forwards. But I'd like to spend a little bit of time now just talking to you about how students and undergraduates can enter the natural sciences and enter kind of that E3 space. And we have a range of undergraduate programs from biology and biomedical sciences, which is the intake through TR060, through which students could study botany, environmental science, or zoology. We have the TR062 stream, which is the Geography and Geosciences program, and that also has an opportunity for international study with a dual BA option for both Geography and Geosciences. We have the Trinity Joint Honours program. This is where the Geography moderatorship, is studied along with another subject. And then we have the new E3 Environmental Science and Engineering degree program as well. And one of the advantages of coming to study these sorts of programs is that Trinity is globally recognized and recognized as one of Europe's top research universities. We have outstanding scientists in terms of the kind of research areas. They're world leaders in their fields, and the programs that are developed here are really kind of formulated to provide you with the education and training that you need, the key skill sets that graduates need to have coming out of these programs to be able to go out and make a difference in their field in the wider world as well. With relation to course structure, they're designed such that students come in to get the foundation of the topics and the kind of the broad-based understanding that they need, And then as students move through the degree program, they specialize through their moderatorship and through particular core subjects and modules that are really appropriate to those moderatorships to give students the skills that they need. There's also the opportunity, though, in terms of choice, to think about, you know, the sorts of things that students are interested in. And if you're a student on the program, you can start to tailor your degree program because there are open and optional modules that you can take. And there's also elective modules as well, which gives students the opportunity to kind of step outside of their subject area and really kind of, you know, provide some breadth to their learning and understanding in Trinity by taking a subject that might be outside of their direct moderatorship program. One other thing to mention as well is that all students complete a research capstone project. This is, you know, a really in-depth piece of independent research that students undertake towards the end of their degree. In most programs, it's in the final year, the fourth year, but with the E3 Environmental Science and Engineering program, that may happen in the fifth year as well. But that's an opportunity where students get paired with an academic mentor, and then they develop an independent research project, and then have the opportunity to go out and undertake this research in order to write a really comprehensive thesis on the back of it. There's also opportunities for some field trips that I'll talk about a little bit later, and the opportunity to go and take the context that you learn in the lectures and the seminars and the tutorials and some of the lab classes that we have here and apply those in the field at a range of locations that are really important in terms of really helping to contextualize the information and the teaching process as well. There's also lots of opportunities. You know, there's opportunities to study abroad through Erasmus and non-EU exchange, and Trevor's here from the global perspective and can talk to that if you have questions about that. And one thing to mention as well is that our graduates also have these excellent career prospects, both nationally here in Ireland, but also abroad. And many of our graduates have gone on to some wonderful positions in the global perspective. So if we look at the structure of the programs that students can take, I've mentioned this already. So we have the biology and biomedical stream. So we have, you know, 2 foundation years, first year and second year. And then after second year, students in their third and fourth year will then go on to specialize in a particular moderatorship. And that might be the botany program, the environmental science degree, and also the zoology degree as well. We have the Tier 062 stream there as well, the geography and geosciences. Again, you can see there's, you know, 2 years of foundation of core material in the first and second years. And then in the third and fourth year, students will either go on to specialize in geography or geographical sciences or geosciences. I can't see this. So if we look at the kind of the structure here, this is for the Tier 060 biology and biomedical stream. So again, you can see the sorts of foundation modules that students will be taking in their first year, the core modules, looking through kind of, you know, biological perspectives and looking at different scales through molecules to cells, right the way up to ecosystems, but also providing students with other fundamental aspects they need as well in terms of mathematics, statistics, chemistry as well for particular aspects. And then you can see that there's choice. There's choice for students to pick in different topics for 10 credits and that are of interest to them in the first and second semester. As students then move through the program into years 2 and 3, after year 2, I said in this program, you can then specialize in your moderatorship of choice. There are several within the Tier 062 stream, but within natural sciences, we have the botany, environmental science, and zoology degree programs that come out of the Tier 060 program. Again, in the third year, we have core modules, so the modules that are specific to the context of being a botanist or an environmental scientist or a zoologist, but then lots of open modules as well, providing students with choice in order to build a program that's of interest to them. We also have the Trinity elective, so where students can take an elective module that, again, as I mentioned, sits outside their direct area of study in terms of their program. And then the final year, there's again, you know, more advanced modules, really giving students the critical skills required to become a practitioner in this field. And there's also the opportunity to undertake the capstone project in terms of research. If we look at the geography and geoscience program, we have a very similar structure you can see here. So in year 1, kind of core credits that are specific to the geography and geology disciplines, and then the opportunity to select open modules with 10 credits from each semester. This is very similar in year 2, and then in year 3, students will then specialize either in geography or geographical sciences or geosciences. And again, we have the same structures you saw previously with core modules, open modules providing choice, and then the opportunity to take an elective module. And then again in year 4, we have the discipline or, or degree specific modules are also paired with the capstone project in terms of research. One thing that's also important to mention here with this particular stream is that within geography and geosciences, as with other in biology and biomedical sciences, student can opt to do a dual BA program as well. So in years 1 and 2, for example, in geography and geosciences, we have the same program as students would take in Trinity, and then in year 4 they'll go to Columbia and would major in earth science there. There's some information there about the application process, but Abby is on the call as well, so can answer any particular questions you might have about that. We also have the joint honors program. So this is where students would come in and would study geography in association with one of other subjects you can see here in the box, ranging from ancient history, political sciences, modern languages, or computer sciences, for example. And then we have a slightly different structure to the program, where we have the first year with foundation modules in key topics, and then in year 2 it will the weighting based on each subject or discipline might split depending on what the student chooses, whether that's to go towards a single honors degree, a major degree with a minor subject, or a joint honors degree as well. With all of these, though, there's lots of modules that are specific to the topic and the topic of the degree program, but also that provide the students with lots of choice and the ability to develop key skills. And again, there's a capstone project in the final year. Finally, I'm just going to mention the new Environmental Sciences and Engineering degree. This is one that's been specifically tailored for the E3 project. And here you can see in years 1 and 2, we have a common intake where students will take modules across the environmental science and environmental engineering sphere. And then in year 3, students will specialize either into environmental sciences or environmental engineering. But I'll focus just on the environmental sciences program at the moment. So in year 3, like I said, that's specialized towards environmental science topics. And then in year 4, there are kind of 3 key options here with industrial internships included, or international exchange programs, or with the capstone project as well. And then students that progress to year 5 will do a master's-based research project, and then will graduate with a master's in environmental science degree. One thing I will mention as well is that there's lots of opportunities for field teaching and within the program, and we have modules that have field components. Many of those are based in Ireland. Some using the resources close to Dublin, Bull Island, and Glendalough in terms of the native woodlands, for example. There are geological formations and coastal morphological modules that are run in Wexford. There are other aspects in terms of field trips in the UK. There's a new field trip that will be running in Devon. We have a marine biology field course that runs in Northern Ireland. And there's lots of other opportunities to travel more extensively. So we have field courses in Gran Canaria, in Mallorca, and in terms of Spain. There are ocean biogeochemistry modules that run in Portugal. There are geological survey modules that are run in Greece. And then we have field courses that are run in Uganda, in Kenya, and also South Africa as well. And this is really important because these field courses provide real context for lots of the topics that you would discuss, and give you the ability and the opportunity to actually look at the kind of the implications and implementations of these sorts of solutions that we will talk about actually in the field. There's also the opportunity to study abroad. So there's the Erasmus and EU exchange, and there's the non-EU exchange program as well. And you can kind of see here from the map the sorts of locations and the other partner institutions that Trinity students can go and avail of and can go and study at. So again, there's lots of opportunity there if that's something that's of interest to you, and you can find further details at the link here. But also Trevor is on the call, and he can talk to you a little bit more if you have particular questions about study abroad or the global perspective as well. One other thing to mention as well is there's lots of opportunities for internships here. I've taken the example of some paid internships that are run through the resource we have in the Trinity Botanic Gardens. And these are internships that are paid and run over the summer, but there's lots of other opportunities for different programs with industrial placements and other research opportunities, other universities as well. So again, lots of opportunities to kind of build your skills and get practice and in the wider field, in the wider sphere with other engagements as well. One thing also to mention is that the career prospects coming out of these programs are varied and they're vast. There's lots of opportunities there. working from looking in systems, looking at environmental research, to resource management, to environmental education, to science communication, planning, chemistry, pharmaceutical industries. Lots of our students go on to further study, whether that's a master's program or a doctoral program. One other thing to mention is that some of our graduates have gone on to do some really amazing things. So William Campbell won a Nobel Prize back in 2015 based on some of the work that he was interested in leaving Trinity. So again, lots of opportunities, lots of key employers, whether that's organizations such as the EPA, whether it's consultants such as Arup or AECOM, key organizations such as the Marine Institute. We've had graduates going and working in Dublin Zoo, inland fisheries. I myself am a graduate of Trinity College, the master's program, and I'm here talking to you today, which is an amazing experience. I'm going to stop now. I'm going to hand over to Abby, who will just talk to you a little bit about the admissions process and other scholarship opportunities as well.
Thank you so much, Matt. So as Matt has mentioned, I will just go through what is required to apply as different sort of demographics of students. So for EU or EEA applicants, you and as well as Irish students are all can all apply through the CAO or the Central Applications Office via cao.ie. So that's where you can upload regular required documents through the CAO. So Irish students will get more information on that, usually in schools, but EU applicants as well are to apply through the CAO. So for non-EU or non-EEA applicants, you apply directly on the Trinity College Dublin website through our applications portal. So if you just go onto the courses page and search or navigate the page to the course that you would like to apply for, you can do that there and apply directly from now, I believe. You submit your scanned documents online. It will list everything that you need. We would need your passport, just sort of a copy of your passport or scan of your passport, 2 letters of recommendation, as well as an application fee of €55, and that is per application that is made to Trinity. So the entry requirements, there are more details on our admissions guide on the website, on the TCD study website, and that will go through all of the admissions requirements. That includes sort of the language requirement, which is IELTS, a minimum of 6.5 or equivalent. That can be the Cambridge, or I believe we take Duolingo at the moment, or TOEFL as well, and just the equivalent to an IELTS 6.5 is needed. Other admissions requirements are listed on our website there as well. So if you could move to the next slide, please. Yeah, just in terms of scholarship for EU students specifically, there is what's called the Entrance Exhibition Scholarship, and this is automatically awarded based on merit when students apply from the EU, including Ireland. And for non-EU students with non-EU fee status, there are a couple of options. There is the Global Excellence Scholarship, and it's a one-time fee deduction up to €5,000. And then the E3 scholarship is available to undergraduate students who have been accepted into any of the E3 schools. And it is valued between €2,000 and €16,000. And again, this is deducted from fees, and you apply through the E3 website, and this can be done after an offer is made. And so for all students, Irish, EU or non-EU, there is an opportunity while studying in Trinity in the second year to take what's called the Foundations Scholarship. And this is taken in the second year of study, and it's awarded based on an exam taken in second year. And the benefits of that include discounted fees for the rest of your time here, free accommodation and meals on campus for up to 5 years. And it is quite highly prestigious. There is a record of students who have taken what's shortened to SCOLS in Trinity, but the Foundation Scholarship exams, and it confers a lifelong status in the university. So just final couple of slides there. Yeah, so as we mentioned, students are sort of our greatest ambassadors here at Trinity College, and they are the best people to take you through what it's like to live and study in Ireland, and more specifically in Trinity. So we have a Talk to Students function that is available through our global webpage. So you can go onto that webpage there, and you can filter through to if you want a student in a specific course from a specific country, if they're available, and they are there available to speak to you about any sort of student life related questions that you have. We usually say to give students about 24 to 48 hours to respond, depending on the time of year, but they are great they're great ambassadors to sort of tell you what life is like in Trinity College, and they're always happy to assist and answer questions there.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Abby. So that brings us to the end of our presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and we will open up then the floor to the wider panel discussion. Let me just see there's something in the chat there. Okay, it's fine. And Q&A. Okay, right. So we're going to start off with some general questions. I'm just going to maybe move to Trevor first, and just maybe Trevor, give us a bit of insight in this, and the people on the call a bit of insight into, you know, what inspired you to pursue a career in natural sciences, and what led you to Trinity?
Okay, I hope you can hear me okay, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you very much for attending, everybody. Yes, I'm Trevor Hodkinson from the Botany Department in the School of Natural Sciences. And I'm a professor there. I teach in the general biology program, as well as in the specifics of botany. But I started my career in a joint degree in biology and geography, so not dissimilar to what the School of Natural Sciences covers. And I really got interested in this area when I went on a field trip in my second year to Costa Rica in Central America. And I spent 3 months there, in fact, working in a tropical lowland rainforest. And that really sparked my interest in biodiversity and all the issues, global issues surrounding the biodiversity crisis that we have. And so a lot of my research these days is involved in investigating that further. So then I went to work I did a PhD after that, and then I went on and worked in the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew as a research scientist there, and then I was appointed as a lecturer in Trinity College right back in 1997. So that's kind of what got me started in my history in this, and it's not dissimilar to my colleagues who have very research-based entry into teaching.
Brilliant. Thanks, Trevor. We might then just shift to get some student perspectives as well. So maybe, you know, share your personal experiences studying natural sciences at Trinity, and what have you found most rewarding? So I'll go in order on the screen here. So Anna, maybe we can get some insight from you to start off with.
Hello, everyone. So I'm a final year geoscience student, and I would recommend this course who has a general interest in natural sciences, because in this course you can mix geology with chemistry, physics, biology, so you can suit your interests. And I think it's really nice that we can go on field trips, so we can gain practical experience. But in the first 2 years of the degree, we get the foundation. So I think it's a nice combination. Yeah.
Brilliant, Anna. Thanks so much. Just while we're moving on, so Clina and Nadia, another question has come in. Just while we're talking about this, you know, why you picked the course and the specialism. You know, there's someone here who's interested in science and sustainability, but is unsure of what to do. So while you're thinking about, you know, just, you know, why you came to study at Trinity, just again, you know, why pick the specialism? So maybe Clina, come to you next.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, my name's Clina. I am a third year environmental science and engineering student. We are the guinea pig year for environmental science and engineering. As for why I picked the course, I have a pretty interesting story. I started in general engineering. I was originally in general engineering. That was what I applied to. For all that I sound American, I am an Irish citizen. My dad is from here. And so I wanted to come overseas anyway. I wanted to never take another history class that was not my own choice ever again. And so I had come over here and I had applied to general engineering, and I'd gotten in and I was doing that. And I was like, something's off. Something's not quite enjoyable here. I like it, but not that much. And then a friend of mine was telling me about his course, this the course I'm in now. And I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And I called my dad and I'm like, Dad, I'm changing courses. You don't have a choice in this. I'm changing courses. Sorry. But that was like my story into getting into this course. But as for why I started doing it, I like climate science. I took a climate science course in high school, and the best course I've ever taken. I emailed my teacher after I switched courses. I was like, you did this to me. This is your fault. But I liked climate science, and I was like, this is a great way for me to do something with climate, something with environmental science that I really enjoy, but I also enjoy the problem solving of engineering. I enjoy like the tangibility of it. And so that was kind of why I ended up in this course, because I was like, general engineering is not quite doing it for me. I'm gonna do something a bit different. Which I should add, switching into courses laterally like that is pretty easy. Your tutor will be able to help switch you. In first year, a lot of your courses will be pretty broad. Like I only changed like 3 modules when I switched. And so if you're doing something in biomed and you want to switch to biology, that's going to be fine. That's not going to be that big of an issue. Just talk to your tutor about it. They'll be able to help you, especially if you're in first semester. They will absolutely be able to help you out with that. So,
Keela, thanks so much. So Nadia, over to you. And Nadia, you came through the TR060 stream, right? The biology biomedical stream. So again, why did you pick botany coming out of that? And then, why that course? Why that specialism?
So I picked biomed just because I knew that I had a general interest in biology. It was my favorite course from high school. And then when I went into it, I was kind of in the same boat where I had no idea which moderatorship I wanted to do. There's like 11. It's a bit overwhelming. I'm like, oh, they're all interesting. They all had their pros and cons. And how I got convinced was a few friends in botany had told me how wonderful it was and how much they loved it, and they loved their course and they loved their professors. But I found that the thing that really won me over was the fact that in botany, and this is kind of the same for environmental science and zoology, is that it kind of incorporates all of the moderatorships, if that makes sense. So if you're interested in genetics, you get to do genetics in botany. If you're interested in immunology, there's plant immunology, there's animal immunology, there's ways you never really get bored, basically. It's very interesting, and there's something that you'd like, basically, in botany or environmental science or zoology if you picked it. And for me, who couldn't make a decision on what kind of biology I really liked, that is kind of what called me to it. I liked plants. I knew I liked them. I didn't have too much of a knowledge about botany before, but it was actually a great way to learn it. And now I really love it, and I want to keep doing botany. But even if you went into like a master's or something after, not necessarily in botany, you'd have a lot of still of the foundation of the other botany disciplines, if that makes sense. Yeah. And one of the best things about your course so far, I loved the field work, because we get to go to Gran Canaria in our 3rd year, and it's really fun to be able to put what you've been learning in lectures into actual context. And in botany, they're really flexible, so like you're able to kind of do projects on things that you're interested in. So they kind of let us loose for 2 days in Gran Canaria, where we could do a project on something we were interested in. And so we were doing it on like a fungus pathogen on this like desert plant, and it was so cool. So I'd definitely recommend it if you're at all interested. Yeah.
I think that, thanks for all the insight there. I think that really kind of, it hones in and provides a nice kind of platform to answer one of the follow-up questions, is kind of what makes the courses in Trinity different to elsewhere. And I think lots of things that the students have highlighted there are really that, there's a real kind of, specialism there. You're getting this specialist, kind of training and education, but there's lots of opportunity then in terms of, developing the course and the program that you want based on your interests and what's available there. I think also, one thing that Nadia mentioned there in terms of the field work, I think that's one of the really strong aspects of our degree programs. And talking to colleagues in other parts of the world, that's something that, has started to not be as prevalent in many other courses. And that's something that we kind of pride ourselves on here. And we've made a real effort to ring fence within our teaching programs, because the opportunity to really get to field teach is such an amazing experience, both for the lecturers and also for the students, because as Nadia said, you have this opportunity to go out and really put into context lots of things you've learned, but have the opportunity then to develop skills, developing research questions and being able to develop them and test them on the fly in a completely different environment is a really nice way to build those sorts of practical skills moving forwards. I know, Trev, you wanted to come in, maybe, any aspects you think about in terms of these sorts of degree programs that we offer, what makes them different, and why students should consider Trinity and natural sciences a potential study option.
Yes, I think you've covered a lot of them there. I think I would sort of stress the fact that all of our academics are really involved in research and also in industry. So there's links there. So they do research and they teach at the same time. And so that's what we call sort of research-led teaching and learning. So there's a strong connection there through research and teaching. The other thing I would stress is how global we are. We're one of the most global universities in the world, and we really welcome global students. And you can see that in the panel today. And we try to make our students as welcome as possible and to interact with our Irish students as much as possible. And it works really well. People give in both directions. So I think that's a lovely thing. So yeah, there's a global aspects to it. There's also the taking the work outside of the classroom. So we really focus, we do a lot of classroom teaching, but we really emphasize work outside of the classroom, whether that's in the lab, whether it's in the field, or whether it's in like working with a research group. It depends what your interest is. So I think that's probably what I would add to what you said already.
I think that kind of also leads on to another couple of questions that we have in terms of the capstone projects, and also one of the questions in the code here in terms of, mixing subjects as well. So in terms of the capstone project, I think that's a really important aspect. I mean, as Trevor mentioned, lots of the academics, all the academics are very research active in the university, but in particular in natural sciences. And that gives students doing their capstone projects an opportunity to get a real understanding of working in the research sphere and asking these sorts of big picture questions, or maybe even detailed questions that actually go towards solving these sorts of problems. But also, in terms of the skills that you build. So there's the question here about the ability to code in biology related careers, and can you mix natural sciences with computer sciences? And yes, I mean, coding is very important, not just for the fundamentals of understanding whether something is, from a statistical perspective, is useful, but also, in other aspects that we look at, there's lots of climate science going on, lots of modeling work going on, and coding is really important for those sorts of aspects, because we can measure lots of things, but we also need to bring in the models so we can really understand, how things change and how they might change in the future. So there's lots of that in relation to kind of the research that we do in the capstone projects. In addition to the capstone projects, as part of the E3 project, what we will end up hopefully having are capstone project students that are from each of those disciplines, computer sciences, engineering, and natural sciences, working together on team-based projects and moving around with mentored supervisors, which allows you to bring in and to merge things like computer programming with certain aspects of natural sciences to create some capstone projects that are really kind of detailed in terms of the level of research that might go on. I think it's maybe, in terms of the course and the structure of the courses, maybe let's bring, Anna, Nadia, and clean it in again. And there's a question here about within the degree programs that you're on, can you give a little bit of insight into the modules that you've been on that are either really interesting or really challenging, pretty rewarding? So Cleena, let's go to you first.
Okay. Well, since you're here, Matt, I'm obligated to mention the module I'm taking from you. Soil science, which actually when one of my friends is a year above me in pure environmental science, and she was like, no, are you taking soil science? Are you gonna be able to take soil science? Are you gonna be able to take soil science? It's the best class I've ever taken. And I was like, okay. So it is genuinely a wonderful module. has field work in it, which was so much fun. And it's pretty lab heavy. But again, if you like doing things, like physical things, like a lab heavy module or course is going to appeal to you. Like I love doing things. I learned really well by and so it was very fun. A lot of these like concepts that we were learning, relating to like water retention of soil would have gone right over my head if I wasn't like sitting there with a flower pot of soil looking at how much it weighed before and after. And so like modules like that are very fun. I've also had a climate science module last year, which was very fun. It's honestly, my course is quite depressing. I'll be very honest. We do a lot of like, the world is ending. Congratulations, it's your job to fix it stuff. So my course is very depressing. Climate science was an extremely depressing module, but it was a very fun module. It's very interesting, and it incorporated a lot of stuff across a lot of different areas. Like it incorporates stuff across like oceanography and across atmospheric sciences, physics. Like if you like a broad topic, like a broad concept, where you can maybe specialize down in, climate science is going to have something for you to do. Whatever you like to do, climate science is going to have something for you to do in it. So things like that are very fun. I also quite like how tight-knit my course is. It's very small. We keep losing people. They're dropping like flies. 15 of us. And it's very small and it's very tight-knit, and that's very nice. A lot of these courses are very small. Especially once you get into your moderatorships, they get really small, and it's very appealing to have just people you will know who is really good at math. You will know who's really good at this, that, or the other. So that's like one of the more appealing things to me is like you get to do a lot of things. You get to do a lot of like courses that have like a really broad topic, but if you have something you really like doing, you can in fact specialize down even within that module, and such. So that's kind of like it. I really like how you can like pick and choose kind of what you want to learn.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks, Kate. So Nadia, let's come to you next.
So for me, my modules I like the modules in botany because they're so different. I mean, you can choose specific ones that you're interested in, but you're always going to end up with a wide variety of different things. So example, this semester I'm in plant breeding and biotech with Trevor, which is really fun because in one class we'll be looking at like chromosomes and we'll be culturing endophytes from the plant. And then in another class I'm in is restoration and rewilding, and it's more of a conversation-based class where we're talking about like different philosophies about rewilding, and like there's sociology kind of included in that, and it kind of, you're never really gonna be too bored. Like there's always places to draw from that are really interesting, and even within the course there's like a ton of variety that you can choose from, and when you take your exams you can kind of like tailor those to your interests, if you know what I mean. Like you can study for a certain topic, but if you really like this certain plant, you can learn all you can about this plant, and then you can tailor your answer in an exam to that, and you can really kind of just like jump into what you're interested in, and you get a lot of flexibility to do that in Trinity, in botany especially, which I really like. And yeah, like I mean, you wouldn't really get to, there's not too much a risk then of not being interested in your course, because there's so many different things you could choose from in like a specific moderatorship. And yeah, like I don't know, I think it's all very interesting and very diverse.
Thanks, Nadia. Thanks. Anna, we'll come to you quickly for your insights there in terms of what's been standout for you so far.
I think we have a module, it's called Ice Ager in third year, and I feel like it's a mix of climate sciences, oceanography, and glaciology. So you learn about how
I
ISAGE
took that module. It's a very good module.
Yeah, it's really good. So I found it really, really challenging, but I learned so much. And I'm more interested in the environmental aspect of geosciences. So I also took soil science last year. And this year I'm taking sustainability for the geosciences. So it kind of links how you can use your knowledge to apply it and to enforce something. So I found it really useful. But if you're more interested in the volcanoes and plate tectonics, there are plenty of modules on that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Anna. I'm just going to move to the chat because there was a number of questions that have popped in as well. So the question here, how many hours a week do students spend in geography and geosciences in the labs and lectures? Anna, maybe you could answer that. What's your kind of timetable like?
So in the first 2 years, you have more lectures, and it depends if you take biological modules, you will probably have labs. And labs are quite long. They can be 2 to 3 hours. But you generally have 1 day per week where you don't have lectures, or maybe you have one. So I felt like it's kind of flexible. And in your last year, it's very individual. So you just focusing on your thesis, and you have a few optional modules that you've chosen. So that's very individual, but I would say generally once a week you have a free day where you can do your CAs.
Yeah, thank you. There's lots of questions here as well about moving courses. I think what's important to do when you're thinking about applying is kind of think about the specialism you'd like to have and the sorts of topics on the course. I don't know, Trevor, if you'd like to say anything about the opportunity for students to move between courses when they're in.
Sure, yes. I mean, one of the great things about Trinity College is that when people start, everybody is allocated a college tutor. So this is somebody who looks after the well-being of the student, and that can include general well-being, but also academic aspects. So if somebody wants to change course, for example, they do it through their tutor. And this is what Clina was mentioning at the beginning, that there are mechanisms to allow you to move around. You're not guaranteed to be able to allow to move around. You need to be in good standing, and you have to have the requirements to move around. But it is facilitated. It's facilitated through this tutor system we have. And then also the course coordinators help a lot as well. So whoever's running that particular course will advise in that area.
Brilliant, thanks, Trevor. There's another question here about the job opportunities, especially for academic research, for example, at Trinity. So, I mean, in terms of academic research, we do have lots of students that do stay on and do kind of, for example, PhD research. We have a couple from the botany degree, from the environment science degree, that are working with one of the professors here, Carla Harper, who's a mycologist looking at particular aspects there. There's also opportunities as well, certainly in the research groups. Several students kind of, do stay on and take on roles such as research assistants. And I think that's really beneficial because it's nice to have a paid job when you finish your undergraduate program, but also it gives a lot of exposure to the sorts of research that we do, builds key skill sets, and then those students have gone on to do some other amazing things. One of our recent employees is now doing an amazing forestry research master's, and is getting to travel the world and look at forest systems in Peru and the Amazon, and really kind of putting their skills to task in those sorts of situations. So there's lots of opportunities in that perspective. There's a question here as well for students about extracurricular activities or student organizations that are related to natural sciences. I don't know whether you're involved in EnviroSoc or BotSoc, or is there one for the geosciences, Anna? I don't know. There is, yes. Anna, tell us about the geosciences one, and then we'll have...
Actually, I'm not a part of the geoscience, but most of my classmates are a part of it. And I know that they organize a trip once a year abroad, so that's pretty cool, and I only heard good things about it. So, yeah.
Okay, and the BotSoc, Nadia, are you involved in the BotSoc?
I am. I'm the chair of the BotSoc, so I have lots to say. Yes, it is. We have like, there's environmental society, there's botany society. We kind of work kind of closely together, but it's more like, it's a super diverse society. So it could be people who have no interest in plants, whatever, they have interest, sorry, but they don't know anything about plants, but they want to get interested. Or it's a place for people in the course, because we do different arts and crafts stuff, but we also do talks with professors, and we do, we're going to start up a herbarium making class with Peter Moonlight in the next semester, which is actually, it's very useful for your course. You know, there's lots of things that you could do there. We did some tours of Jenny's plant climate lab. So there's loads of things that you could do extracurricular within botany that are just more fun and interesting. But they also do help with your course, it's pretty fun. And you can join any kind of societies, and you can join as many as you like. There's no like limit to attendance or anything. It's really chill. It's actually one of the best parts of student life.
Just how many hours of the day there are, I guess.
Yeah, just whatever you can go to, and if you want to, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, Trevor, I'm going to come to you quickly. Just I can see we're getting close to the hour now. There's a couple of things I would like to just ask quickly. So just maybe some insight into how the natural sciences programs prepare students for future careers, especially because the job market is quite, evolving at the moment.
Yes, sure. I mean, I think all of our degree programs, they specialize in different areas. So people get different specialist skills, which are in demand from different industries. But also we try and encourage lots of sort of generic skills as well: communication skills, writing skills, analytical skills, independent thinking, problem solving, those sorts of things. And those are sort of things that employers are looking for. So some people will go and work in industry directly, and other people will carry on into research, and people go into a huge range of different careers across the school. So it's hard to single out any careers in particular there. I've been involved recently in a Trinity College startup company, for example, and we employ people in an ag tech company. So these are just some opportunities that people have, and the job market is good and strong at the moment. And the same with the research. In research, if you want to carry on to do a master's or a PhD, there's a huge amount of opportunity there for you.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Trevor. Okay, we've only got a couple of minutes left, so I've got one final question that I'm going to pose to the students, to Nadia, to Anna, and to Kleena. And if you could give just one piece of advice, very quickly, one piece of advice to prospective students at Trinity, what would it be? Okay, Nadia, let's go to you first.
Keep an open mind. I did not think I was going to go into botany when I first went into Trinity, and then look at me now, and it's the best course I think I could have picked. Just be open to all different kind of experiences in Trinity, and try a bunch of different things out, and you never know what's going to stick. And yeah, it's your time to figure things out.
Thanks, Nadia. Anna.
I would say just like do whatever you're interested in, and Trinity is the best place to do it because you have so many options, and when you start the course and you're unsure, you will gradually find out what's the best for you and what's your actual interest. So yeah,
okay. Thank you very much. And Kleena.
Get a hobby. I don't know if anyone's noticed me knitting this whole time. Get a hobby. Get a non-academic hobby. It will save your brain cells, and it will mean that you can actually focus on your academic stuff better. Do stuff outside of school. Do stuff outside of academics. Whether it's through a society or through stuff outside of college. Don't make your life all academics. You will be miserable. Do something else.
Sage advice. Thank you very much. Okay, so with 2 minutes to go, I'd like to thank everyone in the panel for the time today and for the input and insight. Thank you all for joining to learn more about the natural sciences, particularly as part of the E3 project. And thank you for all of your questions. And I hope to see you all here very soon studying in Trinity in the near future. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.